Zana Abdullah Lim, Universiti's Teknologi Brunei, which will be moderated by Dr. Francois Shin Poshin, Institute for Infocom Research. Please give them a big round of applause as they take the stage.
Okay, all right. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good morning, everyone. It's nice to be here. Okay, so for my topics today is I'm going to talk about exploring edible insects, a nutritional and technological frontier for sustainable food solutions. So I'm Shazana. I am from Food Science and Technology Program area. So basically, I am not an AI person, ICT person. I'm a food scientist. So I'll try my best to answer if there's any question on AI thing. All right, so, okay. Let's start. Now, the increasing global population has intensified the search for alternative food sources with high nutritional value. Therefore, edible insects specifically, have emerged as a sustainable and nutritious food options. So edible insects, for example here, we have sago worms, superworms, or crickets are quite high in nutritional content. I would say in terms of nutritional content, meat, for example, it can be equivalent. It has higher nutritional or protein value compared to meat, edible insects. Right. However, although it has quite a number of nutritional advantages, like I mentioned just now, like protein, as well as like fatty acid. Even fatty acids, it has equivalent or better than like fish, like omega-3 and omega-6. The acceptance, in terms of cultural acceptance, the food safety concerns, and also production challenges, it has hindered the widespread adoption. So the nutritional composition of these edible insects, it can vary quite a lot, okay, as it depends on the species, the stage of development, their diet, the techniques of how it's being processed, and also the environment. So these challenges need to be addressed, okay? So one of the advantages of insects is that it can be a resource-efficient type of meal. It doesn't have to be for food purposes. It could be used for like feeds or in pharmaceutical as well. So it has medical application. So in edible countries, edible insects may be able to mitigate malnutrition and also food security issues. Okay, maybe just some of the examples where edible insects can be, example of edible insects that are quite popular. I've found that beetles, it made up of 31% of edible insects, caterpillars, 18%, wasps, bees, ants, cricket, grasshopper, locusts, and also bugs. Okay, so these can made up of edible insects. So we are not talking about just any insect, we're talking about edible insects. So what's the target of this project is basically we would like to have comprehensive evaluation of insect-based ingredients. Now, it doesn't mean that we're going to eat that insect, just put in our mouth. It's not that. Sometimes it could be used as part of the ingredient because in one of our papers, we found out that replacing protein coming from edible insects is equivalent that when we replace it with egg yolk as emulsifier in mayonnaise. So that is just one of the ingredients that could be used, especially there are people who are quite allergic to or have allergy for egg yolk. So those are one of the applications that can be used. So here, we would like to evaluate this ingredient, especially we are focusing on sago worms, superworms, and crickets. we would like to see the technological aspect, like insect farming, the extraction methods, the techniques to refine, and also other potential application. So we would like to examine these ingredients so it can be applicable in food technology and emphasize on innovative culinary uses and other product that has health benefit as well. Right. Another target is that we would like to identify what are the challenges in terms of technology that can be related to upscaling extraction processes, because I guess when it comes to insect, we only talk about mini farming. So if there's any potential that this could be upscaled, so we would like to identify that challenges. Besides extraction, we also would like to see on refining techniques and optimizing the nutritional properties. Therefore, in this particular area, by evaluating the ingredients, by examining the application and so forth, we would like to use ICT or integrate ICT in this research. So that we can have more efficient large-scale insect-based ingredient production. So this could uncover the potential of insect-based ingredient for applications, a lot of application to address food security challenges and also to foster sustainable technological solution in the food industry. Right, so there are two parts basically. So this part is more on monitoring. So once we have this farm, right, so we would like to monitor. So we would like to integrate that ICT by looking at the temperature, the light intensity, the humidity, and we would like to see how this had an effect on the feed conversion rate, the insect growth rate, and also nutritional profiles of the insect, as well as looking at the feeding diet as well. So we need data basically. So ITT would be one of the best way to do it. So by using IoT sensor technology, so we hope that we can have optimal insect-based animal protein and also oil production. We plan to install sensors in the insect farm and implement collection of data in real time and to analyze and track the growth of insect, its behavior, as well as the health parameters. So, so the part two, I do find it's quite ambitious, but we have to start somewhere. So this is where when it comes to upscaling. Upscaling is a little bit different. Not sure if you're quite aware when it comes to food product development. Whenever we have something or develop a prototype, when it comes to real production, it will be totally different. There's a lot of factors that need to be considered. So here, we also plan to have IoT-based monitoring system where we plan to have temperature sensor, solvent flow meter and adjuster, temperature and pressure sensor as well. So this is a common, okay, so whenever we, extraction of lipid, it comprises of two phases. So the solid phase is where we extract the insect-based, the protein itself. Solid base, protein we extract, and if we go through some sort of refining, we use extract, solvent evaporator, we have to refine, we bleach, and we deodorize. Here, the solution is where we get the insect-based fat. So there are two types of fat. The solid phase, we extract the protein, and the liquid phase, we extract the fats. So this is the part two of the proposed method. Okay, so the IoT sensor technology, again, to optimize the extraction of insect protein and also the extraction of oil, to install sensors here, specifically temperature, solvent flow meter, adjuster, pressure in solvent extractor, refiner, bleacher, and the deodorizer. And as well as we would like to monitor the quality attributes of insect-based proteins. We would like to look into the amino acid profiles, its functional properties, and also looking at the profile of fatty acid, functional properties, and the phytosterol content. Here, we also would like to mitigate any risk or identify and mitigate any risk that is related to contamination and safety concern. So here the impact, in terms of scientific and technological impact, we hope that this research could be, I would say, like an awareness as well. And also we can come up with something innovative for insect farming, extraction and purification techniques. Also to have real-time monitoring and optimize these techniques through the use of ICT and identify any potential food application using these insect-based ingredients. Right. In terms of societal impact, we would like to, we hope that this project could address any food insecurity, especially in developing regions or countries, because insect-based farming it uses less energy, it is more environmentally friendly, and so forth. And also highlighting the nutritional values of this insect-based ingredient to promote the consumption that aligns well with UN's SDGs. So from here, we do hope that we're going to get a collaboration between UTB and other members here from diverse fields, as well as if we can have collaborators as well in terms of AI. So the environmental and economical impact, so this will result in sustainable resources utilization, reduce the impact on environment, as well as there would be a good opportunities for market diversification and also investment. So in conclusion, we hope that the integration of IoT system for efficient large-scale production of insect-based ingredients could produce data on promising functional and nutritional profiles. So the plan here is to use IoT sensor technology to monitor in real time and also to optimize the extraction and refining processes so that we could have more sustainable food resources, reduce environmental footprint, and also to diversify market and investment opportunities. All right, that's it from me. Thank you.
Yep, thank you for the presentation. Is there any question from the floor for this lady over here?
Okay, no question. Thank you.
I have one question. So,
you have.
is there any existing insect farm that you can learn from them? First of all, is there any example of such farm already in operation?
In Brunei, we do not have, but I'm sure there's maybe other countries, especially like in Thailand. I guess they have farms. Yeah, but in Brunei we do not have one. So it would be good to have some prototype in-house in Brunei. I mean, the closest I get from eating edible insect is the sago worm. That's the closest. I don't know about the rest. Have you eaten, or is it part of the diet? That one I'm not sure. So I would say it's not very popular. So, yeah.
I actually, in fact, for this topic, I just do a quick search. I think there are some farms in Canada. They're looking at crickets, meatworms, and then they produce protein powders.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So I think those are important things. Maybe you can take a look and sort of cross-reference what they are doing. That is to provide a differentiation, in your IoT technology. Yeah, that's just my comments. Okay. Any more questions from the floor?
May I ask what is the output of the project? The final output, is it the prototype of IoT sensor is some kind of prototype, and what is the cooperation that you are expect from another corporate layer, another field to install your prototype, or what kind of corporate that we can cooperate with your project?
Oh, okay. Okay, good question. Basically, I'm again, like I mentioned, I'm a food scientist, right? I do not know anything about ICT AI, so I maybe wrongly describe things. So please forgive me on that. Yeah, we planned to have like a small farm, perhaps at the university, to set this up. We can do the nutritional analysis, we can do food product development, but the ICT part is that we don't have. Perhaps, you know, can help us on that bit. Yeah, that's what my expectation, and also we can replicate this in your country, and maybe we can compare, because we are thinking to look into 3 types of these edible insects. So in your place, you could do different types of edible insects like crickets and so on. So we can have this replicated and compare data as a start. So I hope that answered the question.
In fact, I think maybe you can go to our conclusion slides. I think there is, it talks about a target, right? So, yeah, I think basically here they want to bring it to large-scale production. So I think they are actually investigating how to use IoT systems to help to provide an efficient way of managing, you know, the large farm, to make it scalable. I guess that is the intention of using IoT systems.
Yeah, that would be the second part, because we need to set up the first part first. So to be realistic, even first part takes years. So, you know, before we go to the second part, maybe eventually, hopefully we could get there, but the first part would be the first thing that we are looking at. Even it is very new to me. I'm not a PI basically, but I think it's like very interesting, because a lot of potential users, especially in pharmaceutical as well, could be for skin and so on. Yeah.
Yep, definitely. This is a very interesting project. Any more questions? Yes, Aswin.
Thank you. Just a short question, because your presentation reminds me of e-fishery startup Indonesia that in a few years it becomes $1 billion company. Just want to know, do you have a cooperation with insect farming, and how many of insect farming you have in ASEAN around in ASEAN countries? Thank you.
ASEAN country, I'm not sure about that one, to be honest, because I'm not the PI. But I could ask that question to the PI or Dr. Phuah, I mean, because he has been collaborating with Malaysian institutes, so he would know better. I cannot answer that question, but I do find it's quite interesting that a lot of opportunity, yeah, so we can collaborate on.
Yep, any more questions? We have time for one question more. Over there.
Thank you very much. I am Khairul Anwar from Telkom University in Indonesia. Thinking about the future food, I think this is very important, and talking about the edible insect is also important. However, I have a question. What happens if the people, do you extract the protein from the insect, or in the future people will directly eat as it is? I mean, after cooking, something like that.
Yeah. It's more like extraction. We freeze dry it, we grind it, then we extract. So it's this one actually. Yep, it's here. Is that when we process? So this is the solid part we get. We can get the insect-based protein, and it also will go through several phases or several processes where we actually can get the animal, the fats. Is the fat, I mean, it's very interesting to say that the type of protein is actually better than the meat that we eat. it has high biological value type of protein, because protein, they are not created the same. One is low and one is high. So the meat high, so insect high. Yeah, and good also, low calorie, so low cholesterol. But I don't know when it comes to cultural acceptance, even honestly, I don't think I will eat it. So, and even when it comes to fat as well, it's equivalent to like olive oil. So it's very interesting, but still, we still need a lot of data, so that's why IoT comes in. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, let's thank the speaker for this interesting proposal. Okay, just to explain a bit the bells. So for each session, we have 20 minutes for each speaker, 15 minutes of presentation, and 5 minutes of Q&A. The first bell will ring 1 minute before the end of presentation at the 14th minute. Second bell means you cannot speak anymore. And then the last bell is the end of the Q&A. Okay, so with that, do I introduce the second speaker or you will introduce the second speaker? Okay. Okay, our second speaker is Dr. Aduwati Sali from UPM, Malaysia. She's going to speak on harmful algae bloom, remote monitoring and detection over wireless networks for food security in the ASEAN countries. With that, I welcome the speaker.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum and good morning. My name is Aduwati Sali. I'm representing my team from UPM and Department of Fisheries Malaysia to present a proposal on harmful algal bloom remote monitoring and detection over wireless networks for food security in ASEAN, or HAB-ASEAN. So if you remember, this what happened in Malaysia. It was just recently in 2021, in 2022, that the fisheries, for example, the shells, it is contaminated with toxins, which is due to the harmful algal bloom. So this harmful algal bloom looks like this. Yeah, it can be green in nature or red in color, and then it is actually colonies of algae, which is simple plants that live in the sea and fresh water, and it can grow out of control if it is not monitored or controlled. The bad thing about it is it produces toxin, and especially in fish farm where the fish couldn't go anywhere outside of the cage. So the fish can get less access of oxygen and they can die. So these losses are experienced by our fish farmers, especially in ASEAN region, which is covered by the sea. And in this particular area, in this particular proposal, we have communicated with the fish farmers in Kuala Gula, Perak, which is in the north of Malaysia, and we have proposed an IoT system to help monitor the harmful algal bloom, or HAB. So here we show that how the HAB effects, which is the primary effect, consists of the contamination of water, deterioration of the aquatic ecosystem, and this, in this particular case, is the fish farm, which consists of the luxury fish like sea bass, grouper, and etc. And it leads to degradation of air quality and contamination of shellfish. So in the secondary effects, we have threat on human health as we eat the fish, killing of marine mammals, massive fish mortality, and regional economy decline, which we could experience in ASEAN region very soon if we don't protect it or monitor it well. So specific to Malaysia, we have observed these harmful algal blooms scenarios in Kelantan, in Johor Bahru, Kota Kinabalu, Kuching, Sarawak, Penang, Sabah again. So you can see that the effects or the scenarios or the events of these harmful algal blooms is consistent almost every year throughout the years. So the impact here, not only just water discoloration, but shellfish contamination, in which 6 hospitalized in 2001 and 1 died because of it. And in 2013, 3 deaths with over 40 hospitalized. So due to this effect, we would like to propose a monitoring, HAB monitoring, in Malaysia as well as in other ASEAN countries. So we have conducted the experiment through a funding by National Instrument NI, which has been completed. So we deployed this IoT system in Kuala Gula Fish Farm, which is in Perak, with collaboration with Department of Fisheries and the fish farm community in the area. So currently, what is being manually done is the manual sampling performed every 3 months and testing conducted in labs by the Department of Fisheries. So the Department of Fisheries officers collect the data, collect the water on site, and then they bring it back to the nearest office, which is in Penang. So from Perak, Kuala Lumpur Perak in Penang, which is around 1 hour and a half drive. So frequent sampling is only performed after bloom is detected. So it is after the condition happened. So we would like to propose remote monitoring that can early detect this condition of harmful algal bloom. The one that we have deployed in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia is we deployed the sensors in the fish farm, with the approval by the fish farm owner. Several sensors, and we use LoRa as the wireless communication system, and the sensors communicate to the internet or push their data through LoRa to the LoRa gateway, and the LoRa gateway is the one that is accessing the internet through the 4G mobile networks. And data is uploaded to the cloud, and then the researchers can do extraction of data, big data analytics, and data visualization for the local officers, for the authorities to access and do informed decisions from the remote monitoring. So this is what we have deployed in Kuala Lumpur as a preliminary stage of the IoT system. So you can see this is the Department of Fisheries officer, and this is Aboy, which is the fish farmer that we have communicated and deployed our sensors in his farm, fish farm. So we have several options of putting the LoRa gateway depending on the signal. So we have investigated that as well to get the line of sight with the sensors that we deployed in the surrounding area of the fish farm. So we have completed this, LoRa has been set up, sensors has been set up, and then you can see that we put as well the sensors just above, just below the water surface, because the harmful algal bloom, it floats, and you can only detect it at the surface of the seawater. So currently we are monitoring chlorophyll productivity, which shows productivity of algae and the temperature of the seawater. So we also do some image processing, through this mission vision. We come up with our own camera to detect the harmful algal bloom by the color of the algae as opposed to the color of the seawater. So water discoloration, especially to detect algae on the water surface. But we would like to extend and replicate this system. So the one that we have in Kuala Lumpur is still at preliminary stage. The funding from NI has been used up and completed. So we would like to explore more collaboration as well as funding, especially through this NICT ASEAN IVO Japan. We would like to monitor all these parameters because we have communicated with Department of Fisheries, as well as Aboy, which is the fish farmer himself. He was saying, and they were saying, that if we could also monitor all these parameters, DO, nitrogen, phosphorus, toxin, and IoT deployment to monitor other fish farm in ASEAN region, especially the countries which has the same harmful algal bloom problems in their country. So we would like to take this opportunity to get collaboration from experts from ASEAN countries as well as Japan, be it from IoT experts or aquaculture experts. Please let me know how we can collaborate. You can come and meet me after this. So previously, it was awarded a grant by NI, National Instrument Malaysia, but it has been completed around, if I divide with USD, it's around $25,000, and we have presented before in 2021, but we did not proceed with the full proposal. So I hope this time we can try again, hopefully with a more concrete and comprehensive proposal. I'm not sure if I can play this video. I don't think so. No, right? Okay. I think that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, Dr. Sali. Any questions from the floor? Okay, there's one.
Assalamualaikum, Prof. My name is Fairuz from MIMOS. So for the monitoring, you require to have a fixed spot. How do you extend that? For example, like you want to put it in the more dynamic way of collecting the data rather than having in the fixed location.
Yep. You mean for the sensors, or is it for the LoRa gateway?
For sensors.
For the sensors, right? We have tried this, and then we noticed that this is in the open sea, because the fish farm has to be in the open sea, due to the fish condition. Yeah, sea bass, these are not freshwater fish, but seawater fish. So if we make it like dynamic, like anywhere in the sea, it will float away. And because of the current and waves in the area, so it is better to tie it, to have like a cable between the sensor and to somewhere near the fish farm. We have looked into that possibility as well. And in fact, over 3 months, we have to go and clean the sensors because of the barnacles attached to the sensor. So we have to consider all this implementation and practical issue, and it is better to have it fixed at identified area, identified fish farm. Thank you.
Next one.
Sorry, I asked because I do not know much about biology, you know. But you are talking about various, about harmful algae. Now, it is harmful because of what? I mean, if there are various ways that can make algae harmful, then there should be various ways also to improve that one. So if the water is not good because of the algae, perhaps because if the problem is algae number 1, this type 1, then it should move. You have to do something different thing with if it is caused by algae too.
Yep.
So this system can also check the type of the problem, and then the biological analyst can say, okay, in this case I have to put this type of medicine for the algae, for the water and so on. Thank you.
We got that question, that doubt in our mind as well, because I'm a wireless communication expert, just like you probably. But we talked to our aquaculture expert because we have Department of Fisheries, and the team consists also of aquaculture experts or researchers from the Faculty of Agriculture, UPM. So we talked to them, and they say that not all algae are harmful. So there are several types of algae that is harmful. And then the ones that is harmful is determined by their toxin level. So what we are trying to monitor, I understand your question, Prof. So normally what happens is when the seawater is not moving. So there are several times in the year that the sea tide and etc., when it is not flowing as it should. So these happen, and then when the when the algae is developed, then it can harm the fish. So we have to monitor this. There is no short way about it. We have to monitor the condition of the seawater, and then there is also, we know that there is a method of moving or circulate the water in the area so that the algae can move along and not attacking the fish farm. So that is also one condition. And we also know that there are steps to use like microwave signals to make the algae to be breaking in terms of at molecular or cellular level. This is also from our biological expert. So there are several other ways, but we see that the closest and the most practical one is to monitor them remotely, and the toxin level can be controlled through this remote monitoring. So that's what we're proposing through this project. Okay, then.
Any more questions? We still have a lot of time. Okay.
Hi, I'm Dr. Lim from UTB. So, alpha bloom algae bloom has been issues in our region as well. So the thing is like, I think to relate to the question about why you do it fixed, but have you actually tried if you actually do it in the open sea, right? Your LoRaWANs, the reliability of your LoRaWAN due to the buoyancy of your because you're going to put it in a buoyance, like a floater, right? So you move according to the wave. Have you do any analysis on that? Yeah. That's one question I want to know. And second question is that you talk about control. What sort of control you can do if you detect there's a gay in your farm?
Yeah, the first one about the LoRa, right? So we have tested this in Kuala Gula, and then we have increased the distance for the sake of testing. So we put the LoRa gateway in the fish farm, and then we travel in a boat, yeah, as if you can see here, and then we move away like 500 meters, 1 kilometer, 2.5, and etc. So we tested up until 3 kilometers. It can still transmit, but above 3 kilometers we did not receive anything. So there is a possibility of using a hybrid networks, like we can take LoRa for a short distance of coverage, and we can use mobile networks, the normal mobile 4G LTE networks, to make a larger coverage. So because the fish farm in Kuala Gula is quite close apart, so there are several fish farms in the area of say 5 kilometers squared. So we see that this is a potential for LoRa, but of course if it is not available, then 4G LTE is also an option. So the second one you were talking about, oh, okay. Once detected, so we are looking into more parameters. So we want to make informed decisions. So through dashboard for visualization, we would like to help the Department of Fisheries officials to make informed decisions, because currently they have to travel every few months or so to take the sample manually. So we want to help them in such a way that they know through these threshold of several parameters, they can monitor that this area is currently contaminated with HAB. So it's like an alert system. Affect the fish farm. The fish farmers is also having the access to the dashboard. The algae can kill the fish because the fish couldn't get access to the oxygen. Is that what you are saying?
How do you prevent it?
Oh, okay. How do we prevent? So the fish farm, normally they themselves couldn't do much. So they need help from the Department of Fisheries to help flow the water so that the harmful algae bloom can move. Yeah, that's the first one. And if we can detect it beforehand, so the fish farm from the other areas can get alert that this algae is coming. So that is another way to do it, because they are quite close apart.
So far, how is the detection accuracy like?
We have tested out of the occurrence of 170 days. So we managed to detect, especially with the use of sensors and the camera. Out of the 170, we got only 2 errors. So it's almost 97%.
That's quite good, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more questions? Oh, one more, yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. I am Khairul Anwar from Telkom University in Indonesia. I have 2 questions. So the first is, you say that LoRa is part of the 4G, but to the best of my knowledge, please correct me if I am wrong. LoRa is not part of the 4G, but maybe you want to, maybe you refer NB-IoT or LTE-M maybe. So my question to you is that what is the distance, the current, the practical distance you have now for that IoT communications? And then the second, for this project, if I ask about the percentage, how many % for wireless communication or for ICT, and how many % for the algal environment? Yeah, thank you.
So we have tested LoRa because this is tested on site in the area. So 3 kilometers, inshallah, the transmission can happen from the fish farm to anywhere, from the LoRa gateway, which is located in the fish farm, to anywhere around the area, around 3 kilometer radius. So that's promising. But we also take note that the data transmitted over LoRa the bandwidth is small. If you want to transmit image, we surely need 4G mobile networks. And then the second question on the
percentage.
So
how many %
Oh,
for
percentage,
ICT?
yeah, of course. This is subject matter expert of the aquaculture researchers. But when we talk with our Department of Fisheries officers, and then with our expert in the aquaculture department, they want to have informed decisions. So I must say that ICT IoT experts, wireless communications, big data analytics, it's almost 60%. And then the one that is on the subject matter expert in aquaculture is around 40%. But we need the subject matter experts so that we can make use and understand what is the data representing. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, have time for one last question. Anyone? Yep, please.
Hello, I'm Big Yen Nguyen from Choi Tech, Singapore. This is just not related to what you say about the sensor. It has been dirty and it needs to be cleaned very often. Are there solutions for that, like for the fish monitoring, maybe to prevent the farmer to see the upcoming contamination? You can monitor in a very large area. So I think one of the possible AIoT solution to use in the drone, that way you can put the sensor and monitor very large area and sensing all that information to give the warming to the farmer. So that is one of the possible solutions for AIoT that the people have been investigate for the agriculture.
Okay, I see. Thank you. Thank you for the session.
Okay, so with that, that's all for this session. Thank you once again, Dr. Sali.
Thank you.